What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live as we count down to Monday Night Football tonight. And what a game it is going to be. We think the Giants getting 11 points on the road at the defending Super Bowl champion, the Bucs. Yes, I am the coach. This is your sports betting brand of record. You don't need to worry about anybody else. We are powered by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting. All right. Over the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to count down all the sides, the totals, any props that you have in the game tonight that you might be looking at. Put them into the chat. Leave your Twitter handle. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. Now, here's the housekeeping portion of the show tonight. Here's what we're going to do. At 400 likes, I need every single person watching the show right now, hit that like button for me and then get into the chat, and let's be very, very active. We're going to give away a pint glass at 400. When we get to 600 likes, I'll give away an Early Edge hoodie. There's not very many of those laying around. And if we can get to 1,000, the almighty 1,000 number, we'll give away the Coach action figure that Prop Stars has been promoting for a few weeks now. We gave away one. We now need to give away two. And I mentioned Prop Stars for a reason. Let's bring in the star of the show. Now, Jeffrey in the chat is already pointing out, nice shirt, Coach. Yes, I normally don't dress like this. But here at this show, we pay off every bet. If we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So, Sia, how do I look looking like you tonight?
May I say, you look so handsome. You look great. I love what you've done with your outfit today. I didn't expect this. This is great.
Hey, Mikey and AB are not the only ones that can dress like each other. I can dress like Sia. Now, if I had the lettuce like you did, I'd be very, very happy. But I don't, because you are a very good-looking individual. Now, right next to me, not so much. We call him Dial-Up. We call him AB. He's ours, though. AB, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Look, and let me move over to the side here so that mine is not buttoned all the way to the top, just to prove that. The one time a year I wear a collar shirt. I didn't even mean to. I didn't know you guys were doing it. But, yeah, you guys look better than me. I'll say that.
And that is supposed to be a compliment because...
No, it's just a fact.
We're just slinging facts early in the show.
We're just slinging. We're just slinging. Now, Mikey, speaking of slinging, this is a true story. This morning, I'm talking to Maestro. I say, Maestro, you going to throw your pick into the show tonight? Or we get another video? He looked at me and said, Coach, I don't think I can because I'm so locked in to my Rec League championship game tonight. I just don't think I can focus long enough to give a 30-second take on camera. Your thoughts on that reason?
I think it's legitimate because I don't think it was Maestro there. I think it was a distraction for the rest of the team after the video went viral on social media before the canceled game. So I honestly think it was a teammate that asked him because a lot of the other guys on the team were distracted with that video circulating.
You know, that is a very, very good point by you, which is why I always get your take on stuff like that, because I need to see through the weeds and I need to see through the forest and understand what really is going on. Chad in the chat says, you guys need to lay off AB. He is what peak male performance looks like. He's like a perfect physical blend of Jay Glazer and Chase Daniel.
That's the comment. I swear to you, I'm going to get that comment framed and put like right behind here. Like, dude, Chad, my guy.
You know what I would say? I'd say Chase Daniel's been making $10 million a year for the last 10 years. He's laughing at all of us. He's laughing at all of us right now. Yeah. He's the greatest backup quarterback in the history of the NFL. Money-wise. All right, let's get into it, guys. We got a lot to talk about. When we get to the bottom of the hour, we'll get into our sides, our totals, any official plays that we have. But I've got some storylines that I want to hit you with before we get into tonight's game. And don't worry, we'll have another donkey parlay tonight. By the way, if you were with us last night, we hit it for the second straight primetime game in a row. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, speaking of backup quarterbacks getting paid, the most unique contract I've ever seen happen today. And AB, let me come to you. Taysom Hill signs a 4-year, could be $41 million unless he becomes a starting quarterback. Then it could be up to $95 million. I don't even know what to make of this deal, but give it to Taysom Hill for his agents convincing the Saints to give him this deal. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Taysom Hill is now an all-time fleece Hall of Fame. I mean, look, like you got a guy who's getting paid $40 to $90 million, and they went out and signed another quarterback, like to replace him, right? Like, I don't know who his agent is, but I'm going to find it after the show. And look, I don't even have opportunities lined up, but I just want this guy making decisions for me in real life because it's just incredible, man.
let's be clear. He may be a good agent. He's not a miracle worker. He's not a miracle worker. Sia, let me come to you. I don't know that I've ever seen a player. Basically, they're paying him $10 million to be a backup quarterback and play wide receiver and running back, but then he would get market value, sort of, at $20 million a year if he becomes a starting quarterback. You're a fantasy guru. You know as much as anybody that I know. Have you ever seen something like this before?
I have not. It's super creative. And I honestly, I wasn't even sure you could incentivize a contract like this in terms of, flip the switch and have that much money pour in if they end up being a starting quarterback. I agree with the sentiment that I'm not saying Taysom Hill is a bad football player, but it just seems very odd to me. I know when Trevor Siemian initially came in after the Jameis Winston injury, Taysom was still emerging from the concussion, but at this point, he doesn't really seem like the guy that would even overtake Trevor Siemian at quarterback, at least not right now. Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of puzzles me that he's getting this much appreciation from a dollars and cents standpoint. It's a little confusing, but listen, Sean Payton and company, they usually have things figured out. So it's one of the few organizations that I tend to question a little less. So, props to them.
See, and that's where I was going to go. See, I'm glad you brought that up. Mikey, the Saints have always seemingly made the right decisions. But right now, if I'm a player and I'm either thinking about going to New Orleans or I'm thinking about staying, you have to automatically look at the quarterback position. And if I'm one of those players, I don't think I'm going there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely sketchy if you're looking to attract free agents or possible trade situations. As far as how they structure the contract, I think it's actually quite smart by the organization there. Obviously, they don't have to pay him if that scenario, they're paying him a lot either way, but they don't have to pay him the market value for starting quarterback really if he doesn't become the starting quarterback. So I think it's a brilliant job by the organization, frankly. Yes, it's brilliant on the agent side, but the organization still has all the control there. Like if they don't want to start him at quarterback because things aren't going super well in any given season, they don't have to go spend the extra money. They can be confident and, they can just miss the playoffs, for example, at some point, or not perform well if they don't have any realistic chance of winning it. So it's a very interesting thing that we're seeing that I think we're going to see a lot more of. Like we see it and we talk about it, frankly, for props betting anyway, at the end of every season, where we see all the incentives that are lined up for extra bonus money in the last week or two. I think you're just going to see more and more incentive-based pay as things progress, really in every league, but definitely in the National Football League.
It's funny you mentioned that because as I thought about it, and always being, the devil's advocate, and I would love to know the details on what necessarily makes him the starting quarterback, because you're talking about the difference between $10 million a year. So I can already see a scenario. If this starts being the case, you're going to start seeing agents and quarterbacks and players saying, wait a second, I earned that. No, you didn't. No, you weren't the starting quarterback for X amount of games during the year. I would love to see the details. See it? What do you got?
So, Coach, sorry to interrupt. What's interesting is that we have a lot of tight ends that line up in the slot and generally play the receiver position, but they don't necessarily get receiver money. So any tight end, like you name like a Mike Gesicki, for example, or really at this point, half the tight ends in the league, Kyle Pitts, for example, I think now this kind of establishes a precedent where, listen, we'll just go to arbitration because we know this is a thing that I should be getting wide receiver money in spite of the fact that I'm tagged as a tight end. So I think this might be kind of a watershed moment where things start to change with some of those players that have dual roles.
That's a great point. Very, very good point by you. By the way, Jason in the chat said, hey, Coach, if he starts the game, he's a starting quarterback. Simple. Stop it, Jason. Just stop it. That's not even the conversation. By the way, somebody in the chat's also, Beer Me, I think it's Beer Me, says, Coach, what's up with the shirt? Can't a brother just wear a pink shirt buttoned all the way to the top because he wants to? Can I just do that? No, really. If you guys are just joining us, last week, Mikey was all over AB dressing like him. And I said, if a third person shows up, I'll dress like Sia. So, of course, the jeweler runs to his closet during the show, puts on clothes to make me do this. Classic jeweler. But, hey, I'm a man of my word, so here I am making this look fantastic. All right, now, speaking of tight ends, Sia, that's my next storyline tonight because Gronk is back just for the second time in 7 games. AB, his numbers, he's got numbers for catches, for yardage, for all of that. But he was a game-time decision. We didn't know until the last couple of days if he was going to even play. That certainly has to affect us looking, I think, at his unders tonight, no?
Well, it's fascinating because even if he is a game time decision, he is going to see action. If he's on the field, he's going to see action. Tom Brady will find him. I mean, go back to the Super Bowl. He was pretty much a game time decision, right? And Tom Brady was all over it, throwing to him. So if he's out there, Tom Brady's going to look for him. So I'm with you in terms of be careful. The amount of, like, say, receptions like throughout the game. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at like a quick burst, a quick hit type of a prop, absolutely. Tom Brady will find him if he's playing.
All right, so if that's the case, right now his number, and we'll get into the props, obviously, in about 10 minutes or so, but Mikey, let me come to you, because if he's at over 3.5 and his yardage is in the upper 20s, is that kind of where you had Gronk for this game?
Let's see where I've got Gronk right here. Gronk, what was the number on the yardage?
Like 27, 28. I don't. I believe that's what it is.
It's
29 and a half. 29 and a half.
29 and a half. Yeah, I like the over on that. I think it should be about 36, 37 is where the number should be in the market if he truly is playing. Given the fact that, where the game is, the point spread, the opponent, all of those things, I don't see them playing him if he isn't really ready to play. So I do kind of like the over in that one.
Okay. If there's one thing,
see up to 32. Yeah, climbing up.
There you go. So it continues to climb. See, if there's one thing I've learned from Mikey the last few months is that trends most of the time don't mean squat. So let me tell you this: Tom Brady hasn't lost 3 games in a row since 2002. Not necessarily a trend, just kind of a cool stat. Gronk in action for just the second time in 7 games. Also, Daniel Jones 0-7 in his career in prime time. Brady 9-0 following consecutive losses since the start of 2003. That would lean to the Bucs winning the game. But we've got that little funny thing called an 11-point spread that we have to talk about. And do any of those numbers support, in your mind, winning by almost 2 touchdowns?
The only one that resonates even a little bit with me is Daniel Jones in prime time. I think that one might have some weight to it because it's a trend as it pertains to Daniel Jones himself in the NFL, whereas the other ones are pertaining, a lot of them are pertaining to different teams and different makeups of teams over the years. So that's an interesting one to me. I don't put a lot of weight in it. I think 11 points is a lot. So for me, I'm kind of like, first of all, Gronk being back, I think is a really huge deal. I think if Antonio Brown was back, I would absolutely love the Buccaneers here because I think this offense really flows when he's on the field. I think that's an obvious point given how poorly they've played over the last 3 or 4 games. With that said, I think 11's too much with the Giants coming off a bye, and they're super healthy. So those narratives will take you maybe – they don't take me very far, but even if you're a narrative guy and a trend guy, they can't really take you far enough to say, well, I'm going to discount all these other things. And so when I look at the Giants' health and I look at how poorly the Buccaneers have played over the last few weeks, offensively and defensively, when I evaluate their injuries, including Vita Vea, who is not going to play tonight, it just seems to me that 11 is too much. So I know that wasn't your question, but the trends don't really make up for anything for me.
It may not have been my question, but it was a great freaking answer. That's what I know. So, Mikey, let me come to you from Sia. If that's the case, and I think a lot of times the public just loves to ignore certain things because they want to bet on teams like the Bucs or the Cowboys or the Steelers or whatever. But they didn't look good at all against the Saints at all. And they looked even worse against Washington. So how do we get to this number, Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, we get to because, like you said, trends don't really hold a ton of weight. 1 to 2 game sample size like that also doesn't hold a ton of weight in these spots. So that's how we end up getting to numbers in spots like this. It's tough to play on the road in the NFL. It's a home field advantage for them in this spot. So that's how we get there. They're just simply a better team. As far as the number itself, it is a big number. Frankly, anything over 8 is a huge number in the National Football League. At 11, it's kind of an awkward number there as well. It's not 10, not 9.5. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting teaser number too. As you get it at 6, you could get the Giants at 17, which happens to be a key number in the NFL. It's just a very, very interesting price point. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers respond. I mentioned on one of the shows, earlier last week, I would think it was, or I guess earlier. Last week. Brady spent less than 90 seconds in his post-game press conference after that last game. So we'll see how hot and heavy they come out throwing in this one early in this game.
It's a very interesting point. AB, what do you got?
Yep. So this Daniel Jones thing, I know he's 0-7 in primetime. Let me take it a step further and drill this thing down, because this might not be just a simple nugget. This might be a real thing. He's played in 35 games in his NFL career. Okay. He's won one game outside of the 1 p.m. Eastern window. One.
Wow.
I'll look. You look at it, okay? He is 10-12 at 1 o'clock. All right, 1-1 at 4:05. 0-4 at 4:25, 0-7 in primetime. All right, I'm not saying that that's everything in the world, but we have 35 games of this, and he's won one time outside of that window. So
So you're saying we should sprinkle a little bit on the Giants money line tonight, is what you're saying. That's what you're saying. All right, let's continue to hit that like button. We're getting very, very close to the 400 number and give away that pint glass. And I really want to give away the hoodie tonight, but we got to get to, I believe, 600, right, to do that. But it is that time of the show where we get into our best bets and give you exactly what we are playing as a show in the game tonight. Now, the Maestro, if you noticed, he is not here. The Maestro, as I said at the top of the show, if you were with us, he's at his rec league championship. We're not animals. We allow our people to have a personal life. So the Maestro is going to go for 40. We're going to talk about maybe the Bucs going for 40 tonight. So let's get into it. Larry is on the Giants plus 11, official play for the show. AB, I know you got 2 plays. Talk to me.
Yep, 2 plays tonight. First, we're going to go Bucs team over 3.5 touchdowns. We're also going to go with the Bucs team total over 30.5 points.
Boy, you should really teach Jay Smooth how to give out plays on the show. I think that would that take you about 9 seconds.
Yeah.
By the way, because somebody in the chat just wrote it, because you're always the master of nuggets. Okay,
Chick-fil-A.
What? That's very true. What about Brady's prime time record, which is not very good, after 7 o'clock at night? Do you have that number handy, or can you get it?
Yep, we do. It's equally awful. Tom Brady is 0-11 against the spread in his last 11 games with a 7 p.m. Eastern or later kickoff. So, yeah, you've got a lot of trends on one side and a lot on the other that kind of go completely opposite. That's what makes this game so difficult.
See ya. What do you got?
To me, what's really staggering about that trend is you can almost discount the Daniel Jones one, because he's been playing for the New York Football Giants, who don't win in general. Whereas Tom Brady, the after 7 o'clock thing, well, that's a little bit more important if you want to put any value on it at all, because he generally wins. I mean, he's on winning teams year to year, and he's constantly winning Super Bowls. So I think that, honestly, I'm not really buying into that narrative either. My point is if you are a person who's buying into the Daniel Jones side of the narrative in terms of prime time, you can't just ignore what Alan just said about Tom Brady. You have to give them equal weight, if not give the Daniel Jones lesser weight than the Tom Brady one.
Very interesting. And we always have that one person, because I actually took lessons growing up from a listening coach, a voice coach, and listening is an art. Can't tell you how many times we put up this stat throughout the year, and we always get that 1 or 2 people. No, what about the Super Bowl? He won the Super Bowl. Yes, he did, which started at 6:20 Eastern time every year. Clearly, this is after 7 o'clock. Am I right, AB? We get them all the time. I'm like, read the graphic. Listen to what we say. Damn, It's after 7 o'clock. After 7 o'clock. All right. Now, I have to do the obligatory ask, even though because Mikey is always adding plays. Mikey, any official plays for the spread or total tonight, or a prop for that matter?
Nothing yet. We'll have one official play by the end of the stream, but not. Give me about 5-6 more minutes and we'll be ready.
All good. See ya. What about you, pal?
Yeah, so I like Kenny Golladay over 52.5 yards. Just side note, I'm considering, and I wonder, you guys tell me the rules. I might take the Giants plus 11.5 as an official play, because this line is climbing now. But I haven't decided. The one I know I want to make an official play is Kenny Golladay over 52.5 yards. Receiving yards.
The reason why that's important, even though Larry's already on it, we keep track of every single person's season-long football record. So if you want to have an official play, just let us know, and we'll make it an official play for you and also add it to your record. Mm-hmm. So let us know before the end let us know by 8 o'clock if you want to make the Giants an official play for you and your record. Okay.
Got it.
But I'm trying to find Galladay to get it in before the person who's watching the show from the sportsbook changes it on me, because it happens so much because you guys are all freaking so good. So what did you say? So your official play was
receiving
Galladay
yards over 52.5.
All right, I got it at 51.5.
I like that. See, actually, yesterday it was much lower. It was in the like mid to upper 40s. It's climbed a little bit to 52.5. I still like it there. And for the record, as a lean, I like his longest reception over 21.5 yards, but I don't want to make that official play because I think it's a little bit more fluky than the over 52.5 total receiving yards.
That's a great point. Great point. So we'll leave that off, but we will make your Galladay over 52.5 receiving yards an official play. Also, Alex, Prop Stars, our guru, our guy. You're probably wondering, where is he tonight? Well, he's sitting in a play. Kadarius Toney over 36.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Here's why he's the GOAT, in my opinion. How many guys, and anybody can answer this on the panel, how many guys on their wedding day take the time to send a prop in to his favorite show, to his homeboys, to his crew, to his guys, when you're thinking about how he got married today and he still sent a play? To me, that's next level kind of stuff. Anybody else think it's savage?
Oh, look, let me say this. It's absolutely next level stuff. Also, we need to have you at the reception when he's got a microphone. You pop in with a prop question and just let him roll, baby. And just let him go.
We'd have a contest. Which is longer, his take on the prop or the song that they danced to for the first day? By the way, Kadarius Toney, again, is official play. Don't forget, we have an entire prop show every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, that Uncle Dave and Prop Stars give all of their props out throughout the weekend. And hopefully, if you watch it live, you can get those numbers before they change. Excuse me. The boss is just texting me, again, ruining my flow. He's getting married tomorrow. So he had to take the day off today to get ready for the wedding tomorrow. I respect that. First person I've ever known to get married on a Tuesday. Yes, Mikey.
Breaking news, I have an official play on the game. It is going to be Rob Gronkowski over 30.5 receiving yards. You can grab that on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. I would still play it all the way up to 33.5, which will cover most of where it is everywhere right now, and certainly probably where it will close after we all decide to go play it. But I just played it on FanDuel at 30.5.
All right, I got it at 29.5. So I will put it in right here. Thank you, Mikey. Now, what about his reception prop at 3.5?
It's okay to lean that way, but I don't.
25.
At plus money, I think it's fine. I prefer the yardage just because it is low enough that we could get there on 2 catches very easily, and there's a drastic difference between 2 and 4. So what we're looking at here, basically thought process is if Gronk plays, obviously I have an edge on the model. My number on it's all the way up to 42. But if he plays, which he is, he's activated, he's ready to play. They're not going to activate him in a home game where they're 11-point favorites over the Giants. Obviously they are coming off of a loss, but drastically different team here than Washington football team. So I'm going to trust that he's going to play in this game. Look at the games he's played in this year: 55, 39, 90 receiving yards, 8, 5, and 8 targets. I think this number is way too soft if he's on the football field.
Hey, all I know is that I've worked with you long enough. You tell me to bet something, damn it, that's what I'm going to bet. All right, we've reached that time of the show. We have about 10 minutes or so to talk about as many props as you can possibly get. And if you watch this show religiously, you know that we give you out so much information on other props that cash that aren't even official plays. But if you have a question, put it into the chat. Leave your Twitter handle. Also, I need you to smash that like button for me. We need to get to 400 and then 600. But AB, let me start with you because everybody loves quarterback props. We know that. They love betting them. And tonight, the yardage props. Daniel Jones over 240.5, minus 134. And Brady is close to 300. 297.5, minus 115. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I like Tom Brady more in this one. One, I think that he is going to bounce back being at home. Look, this is the first time they've played at home, and I think in 5 weeks, okay? And you look at Tom Brady in Raymond James Stadium, he's 10-3 straight up. He has 3+ touchdown passes in 6 straight at home. He has 14 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 3 games at home. And the last 6 they've won by 30 points, right? Or they've scored 30 points or more in those. I think Tom Brady is going to have a good night. Now, let me give you, this isn't anything against Daniel Jones, but there is something that you want to pay attention to tonight, okay? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is averaging the second most DPI penalties in the NFL. New York Giants opponents are averaging the second most DPI penalties in the NFL tonight. So pay attention to that, which sounds little, but could be something down there. But I like Tom Brady, even though that number is quite high. I think that he has a monster night tonight.
I don't think it sounds little. I mean, that could be the difference between 1 or 2 more touchdowns in the game if that particular happens. So I think that's a great nugget. Sia, let me come to you. A lot of people in the chat are wondering about rushing props. I only have 2, and I think they're very popular, one on each side. Daniel Jones over 20.5 rushing yards at -135, or Leonard Fournette over 63.5, -130 for the Bucs. Talk to me.
The one I like more is the over on Leonard Fournette. I actually think the main way to expose this Giants defense, which isn't really good on the front end or the back end, is through the running game. That they're not really great at stopping them. Granted, they're not good at creating pressure on the quarterback either. But the one thing about them that's pretty good is their secondary. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the Brady prop, because again, the Giants don't create pressure and Tom Brady should eat that up. But with that said, I think Fournette is probably in line for a pretty good rushing day. Ronald Jones has been almost completely phased out of the offense. Gio Bernard is really truly only a passing down back who kind of just comes in when the Bucs are behind. But you saw even last week, Fournette was playing that role against the Washington football team. So I would probably lean to Fournette's total yardage with receiving in there as well. I'm not going to play the over there, but of those two, the over I prefer.
Okay. I actually prefer the Daniel Jones because I think the Bucs are going to try and brag, stick their chest out and say, I can stop all these wide receivers. We're going to try and go man-to-man because we're just better. And we saw what happened last night with Justin Herbert. He ran wild against a defensive game script like that. I think Daniel Jones does the same tonight. I like the over 20.5 for Daniel Jones. All right, Mikey, let me come to you because we've got a lot of catching props. A lot of players are listed tonight. Can you give me one that you have the model edge on rather than me read you 8 names and I can kind of tell you what the numbers are currently? Do you like any catch prop?
The actual reception numbers?
Yeah, the reception numbers.
I haven't looked at reception numbers. I have all my data in front of me, so if you read me ones, I can tell you which ones I have edges on, but I don't have the pricing in front of me on them.
All right, so to correlate the Galladay play that we've already given out, his catch prop is 3.5 at -151.
At -151, I would not take it there. 3.8 is my number on it, but it's not enough to overcome the -150.
All right, Evan Ingram over 3.5 -110. He's been very, very target heavy lately.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I've actually got that one at 4.2 as the median. And that one, you're at 3.5 at -110. That one would be a play for sure.
Okay. How about Kadarius Toney over 4? Did we do the reception prop or the yardage prop for Toney? I'm trying to remember yardage. So his catch prop is +111 over 4.5.
I like that as well.
Okay, so
I had that one over 5 on the median on that one.
Yep. You had over 5 there. All right, very good. All right, we'll get those in. All right, somewhere Alex is losing his mind, AB, because there is a prop, apparently, according to a person in the chat, Tom Brady over 1.5 yard rushing tonight.
Oh, that's gross.
Should we play it? Come
God,
on.
that's gross. It's so gross. I mean, play it for fun. Yeah, like this is one of those fun plays. You know what I mean? But like, I wouldn't put a full unit on it. But if you want to have some fun tonight, it's always exciting with it because he will, stretch out on third downs. Like Tom Brady is going that route for sure. Now, can I give one nugget away here? You guys were talking about wide receivers. There's one thing. Yeah, there's one thing I want everybody to understand about the New York Giants offense. The Giants have just 4 touchdown receptions from wide receivers this season. No Giants wide receiver has more than 1. So just be careful on that side.
All right. Very, very good. Sia, let me come back to you because I love touchdown props for quarterbacks, and it's a fault of mine. I play them because my heart wants to. I played Mahomes yesterday. He threw 0. But tonight, Daniel Jones over 1.5 touchdowns plus money and Brady is over 2.5 minus 114.
I mean, I kind of like both. I think the Giants are going to score more than 2 touchdowns, and I don't think it's going to be through the ground for obvious reasons. The Tampa run defense is really, really good. Now, granted, Saquon is back, and that's great. But at the same time, I think whatever damage they're going to do is through the air. And for the record, as far as specifically Kadarius Toney and Galladay are concerned, they haven't really been healthy all year. And the one time they were healthy with Saquon Barkley healthy as well, I believe was week 6 against, it was against the Saints. And I think it was week 6 or week 4. And anyway, Galladay had over 100 yards. He had 6 catches. So like when these guys are actually all healthy together, I do think it's a different offense.
Okay. Very, very good. I had a question I was going to ask, and I lost my train of thought because Creighton hit a game winner, and SportsLine had them by 5 today. It would have gone to overtime. That's the worst. Game winner, win by 2, and overtime maybe. So my apologies for that. Let me come to you, Mikey, because he mentioned being healthy, Sia did. And we haven't even mentioned one very important name tonight. And you know what name that is for the Giants. Saquon Barkley. How big of a role do you think he plays coming back tonight?
Yeah, that's the question here, and Booker should be in there as well. I'm going to assume that it was like week 1, and he's going to have the role. The issue with it is he's playing a team that doesn't really allow you to run the football very often. So he's going to have to find some involvement in the passing game for him to truly be really, really effective here. I think that it's always good when you get a healthy, rested on Barkley. It's just the matchup is absolutely brutal for him. So I think he'll be involved. I think he'll have a pretty big role. I just don't know that the efficiency will be there.
All right. It is very clear also in the chat tonight that a lot of people are just going towards the Bucs. Nobody's asking about Giants. Nobody looks like they're playing Giants. This might be a trap for all bettors because they want to load up AB on the Bucs, on all the receivers, on all the rushers, because they think they're going to score 50. Could that get some people in trouble tonight?
It could. Let me say this. Daniel Jones, his last 3 games, he's got a 71% completion percentage, 4 passing touchdowns to only 1 interception. He's 3-0 against the spread. Like Daniel Jones, and look, all the stats that we put out about prime time, blah, blah, blah. Add that with this. He's one of the top half quarterbacks in the NFL on the road this season as well. In away games, 66% comp, 2.5 touchdown to interception ratio, and a passer rating of 98.6. Like, he's not a bad quarterback. Like, it goes more to what CEO was talking about, that this has just been a really not very good team that's also banged up. But Daniel Jones isn't that bad of a QB, right? So if people are healthy tonight, yeah, man, like they could put some points up for sure.
Okay. We're going to do the donkey parlay very, very quickly. However, we have thank you, Kelsey, always running the chat for us. We have a big audience watching right now. Thank you all. We have over almost 1,000 people watching right now live at the same time. We can get to 600. I need 70 more likes to take the time. It's very, very important to the growth of the show. Also, I want to give away that free early edge hoodie, but we got to get to 600 to do it. Let's do it in the next couple of minutes. Okay. So let's get back quickly to the Saquon numbers, Sia. Based off what Mikey just said, somebody in the chat gave his numbers, and thank you very much. I'm trying to find them. I believe the combination total is 69.5 for rushing and receiving together. Would we even touch Saquon's numbers tonight?
No, and there's just too many unknowns, and so the number's a little bit too high for me when you account for the unknowns. It does look like Devontae Booker is active, like Mike suggested, and I think he's 100% Saquon, but I don't know that. And it's 70.5 against a really tough run defense. Yes, without Vita Vea, but it's still going to be a tough run defense. It's a pretty bad offensive line for the Giants. So I think most of the damage they're going to do is through the air. Sure, Saquon's going to get some of that, but I just think 70.5 is a touch too high in the first game back.
Okay. Very, very good. It is so tough. And PropStars did a really good job of explaining to everybody yesterday on the show that it's very difficult when you do props. So take your unit size down, because if Barkley comes out tonight and gets 50 yards in the first half, he could tweak it and sit the rest of the game. And then all of a sudden, what do you have? What do you have? And that's the difficult thing about playing on players who've missed time, who are hurt. It's just a gamble sometimes, but that's what we do. We're gambling. Okay. Now, for those of you who are brand new to the show, we do 2 fun bets every primetime show. And the last two primetime shows, we've hit this first one. We like to call it the Donkey Parlay. It is an invention of one of our favorites. He is a staple. He is a god for us. Mikey. Thursday, boom. Sunday, boom. Can we do three? Dare we? 3 nights in a row?
3 in a row. All right, here we go. 7 legs plus 500. I knew Jeweler was doing that to me. I was waiting for him. And then we got the, all right, Bucks minus 2.5 on the alt spread. New York Giants plus 21.5 on the alternate spread. Kadarius Toney over 29.5 receiving yards, the over 39.5. Rob Gronkowski over 19.5 receiving yards. Chris Godwin over 59.5 receiving yards. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to score over 5.5 points in the first half of the football game.
Man, God, this is one of my favorite bets to place all week. It takes me 10 minutes to get it in, but it's one of my favorite bets to play all freaking week. And when it hits, it feels so good. It feels so good. So take a look. Don't worry. In about 10 minutes, we'll recap everything, including the Donkey Parlay, so you have plenty of chances to get your bets in. But we like to end around 8:05 so everybody can get those bets in. All right, it's that time of the show. Now, week number 1, there's a lot of new people. We've grown so much. So some of you are new. You're like, what are they doing? What's this? What's that? I try to explain it the best I can. So we do a first touchdown of the game pick on every primetime show. We call it the Van Jefferson Memorial Touchdown Pick. He's still alive. He's still playing. That's just what we call it. All right. Mikey was the first person to hit a plus 4,000, boom, with Van Jefferson. Then Sia, the very unassuming, humble man all the way up to the next shirt. He hit it not once, but twice, and always lets us remember that. So they're on the inside of the club. They're looking out going, there's Coach, there's AB, there's Prop Stars. We're in here just popping bottles is what they're doing. And also the Maestros in the club too. Tonight has got to be my night. Mikey, you're always the one that gets to go first. What do you got tonight, pal?
All right, we're going to get a little crazy with this one tonight.
I love it. A
little crazy. So plus 2,000, but shop around because you can find a few different numbers on this one. Giovanni Bernard, plus 2,000 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They like to use him in passing situations. They really like him more than Ronald Jones, frankly. Just hoping that it's one of those scenarios, potentially a 25-30-yard run for Leonard Fournette that gets tackled inside the red zone, has to come out for a play or two. We've seen it a lot with this Bucs team. I like the way they use him in the red zone, use him in the passing game. So give me Giovanni Bernard for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I love that a lot. Can you do me one more solid, if you would, please, Mikey? While we're giving ours out, can you please select one for Prop Stars like you did before? He did not send one in. I don't want to leave him out. Certainly when he's in the middle of his bachelor party or rehearsal dinner or whatever he's doing tonight, just pick one for him and we'll attach it to his name. AB,
perfect.
What do you got for us?
So in honor of Sia in this game, you know that meme or that gif of Tom Brady with all the rings where he's doing like this? Like that's Sia with this right here, right? But it's gonna come from Tom Brady's hand, and it's going to my man Tyler Johnson of the Buccaneers. And here's how it's gonna go down. He's gonna score the first touchdown pass from Tom Brady, and you're going to see the team go crazy for him because my man has been putting in work throughout these injuries, throughout the last 3 to 4 games. His targets have gone up. Receptions obviously gone up as well. And you're going to see the team come fired up when he does put that one in.
So tell me the name one more time.
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson. Okay. Plus, all right, I got you. All right, see ya. Every time you look at me with that very innocent look on your face, I know behind the eyeballs, behind that little grin is a savage, is an absolute pick killer. Because you're the only 2-time champ. Is tonight a chance for 3?
Let's go for 3. Yeah, I'm reasonably confident in this one. The only problem with it is it's the underdog that has to score first. So I'm going to stick with a similar theme. This guy is 6'4", 215 pounds, has a 4-year, $72 million contract, which he really hasn't paid off yet because he's been injured with hamstring injuries, with knee injuries. Now he has a relatively healthy offense around him. And frankly, the Tampa Bay doesn't have a lot of guys in the secondary that can cover him, especially on jump balls, which I assume he's going to get. It's Kenny Golladay at plus 1,500. You can shop that one too and get it plus 1,600 or 1,700 in places, but it's plus 1,500 at Caesars, I believe.
All right. Right now, I'm second guessing myself on everything. Every time I listen to all you guys, I'm like, nah, I should have. Nah. Now somebody in the chat's making me second guess myself too, because I just looked and Evan Ingram is over plus 1,000, and nobody has him. So I'm torn because I was going to go with Daniel Jones at plus 1,600, but you know what, Jeweler, can I switch my pick on the fly? Can I switch my pick?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to switch because of the person in the chat to Evan Ingram plus 1,275 for my first touchdown. Again, obviously I'm doing it live. I don't have any reason other than he's been thrown at a lot. They like to throw at him, and hell, I haven't picked one right yet anyway, so I'm going to switch it on the dime. And so help me if Daniel Jones gets it at the 1 and goes over the top.
I was just about to say. I was just about to say that's how it's going to go down now.
Yeah.
Ingram's going to get it at the 1.
Now. Everyone in the chat can just go ahead and lock in Daniel Jones right now.
Yeah. I'm betting
it.
But it's going to cash.
Oh, all right, Jeweler, what do you got tonight, pal?
Well, this guy, he falls into our threshold of being, plus 1,000 or greater, and he's sitting at exactly plus 1,000. Someone in the chat mentioned his name earlier. He's going to have 2 receptions for 2 yards for 2 touchdowns. Rob Gronkowski.
Oh,
it's too obvious.
That's a good one.
We're gonna go with the chalk. We're barely getting over the line here with this one.
I was gonna say I want to see 2 sports books that have this at plus 1,000 or higher.
Actually, every single one of them. He was lower than that, his odds have gotten longer since we've started up. So I saw him at 900 earlier. But
can we also say really quickly that the last 2 primetime games, legitimately, the Jeweler has had the first touchdown going through his person's hands?
Whoa! Stop right there. Last night, Mikey, who were the first 2 Steelers to go into the end zone that just missed his hands last night?
That would be one Deontay Johnson.
Thank you. Who picked Deontay Johnson on last night's game?
That's true. It's true.
That would be me. So don't give Jeweler credit like he was that close. I was closer. And all I had to do was look at Big Ben when he was like, oh, I overthrew him by a yard. No kidding, Big Ben, because that was my guy. And that was my chance. And that was my world. Don't give Jeweler that credit. I was the Heartbreak Hotel last night. I'm bitter. This is week 11. And I'm not any closer than in week 1. All right, Mikey, who do you got for prop stars?
All right, so the objective here is to get him in the club, but also to tilt you a little bit, Coach. So you talked about a tight end that you switched your pick to, who they like to throw to. That would be Evan Ingram, who has 7 targets in the last 2 games. The backup tight end, Mr. Kyle Rudolph, for the same team, has 8 targets in the last 2 games. Some of them come in the red zone as well. He is plus 5,000 on DraftKings. 3rd string tight end Caden Smith, inactive for this game. Let's go tight ends. Let's go Kyle Rudolph, plus 5,000 for prop stars tonight.
And just for the record, yes, that does tweak me. Just for the record. I don't know who is more low-key savage, you or RJ White, because you're diabolical. You're diabolical. All right, there it is. There are our Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown props of the game. And as you can tell, we freaking love it. We take it seriously. We joke a lot, but damn it, we all want to be in the club. We all want to be in the club. Rest assured of that. All right, the game starts in 10 minutes exactly. So we've got to get our official picks. One more time, recap, go through the donkey parlay, and say goodbye and watch this game. So real quick, our official plays. Sia, go through yours real quick.
Yeah, I said it. Golladay is healthy now, and he's got some healthy pieces around him. It's over 52.5 receiving yards. By the way, slight lean to longest reception, 21.5.
Thank you very much. Mikey, I know you added one on the show as well.
Yeah, I've got Rob Gronkowski over 30.5 receiving yards, still sitting there on FanDuel. Would play it all the way up to 33.5. But once you get over the 34 thresholds, where I'd start to slow down on playing it. And then, of course, we have the donkey parlay.
Real quick about that, Chris in the chat says the donkey, I don't have it 39.5 alternate points. Ask Mikey if 40.5 is okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. AB, what do you got on the show tonight?
Yep, Bucks team total over 30.5 points. Bucks also over 3.5 touchdowns as a team. However, they got to get there.
All right, and Prop Stars is playing Kadarius Toney over 36.5 receiving yards, and you can see the difference when Larry put his in. These lines move. People watch my guys. I don't know any way else to say that. And then, so those are our official plays, and then real quick, Mikey, because people love that donkey parlay. Jeweler, if you could throw that up there one more time and quickly run through that, Mikey.
Yeah, 7 legs here tonight. Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 2.5 on the alt spread. The New York Giants plus 25 or plus 21.5. The over 39.5. Kadarius Toney over 29.5 receiving yards. Rob Gronkowski over 19.5. Chris Godwin over 59.5. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to score at least 6 points in the first half of the game.
Oh, man, that looks tasty tonight. A little return of plus 500. We're all set and ready to go. I like to end every single show, give my guys 20 or 30 seconds to tell me what they're most looking forward to tonight to see if it matches up with you as well. AB, start us off.
Yeah, I want to see if Tom Brady, how pissed off he was last week, what that means for him and his team, even without Antonio Brown, because they're only 1-3 without AB. So, yeah, if he pulls this off big time tonight, they're back.
See it. Talk to me.
Yeah, what's the state of the Buccaneers? I mean, we just don't know. The last time Brady lost 3 in a row was 2002. Best Picture in 2002, Beautiful Mind. Best-selling album, Eminem's Eminem Show. And by the way, Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, landmark moment, they broke up in that year. That's how long ago it's been that long since he's actually lost 3 in a row. So if he does it tonight, if he can't get it done, I think we might have to start turning the page on Tom Brady.
It's so crazy that you remember all that stuff from when you were 3 in 2002. It's great. It's crazy. Yeah, you were 2. Okay. Okay. Mikey, bring us home.
Yeah, first want to give a shout out to Greer in the chat. Says show is garbage. I just want to say thank you for tuning in and watching the whole thing before you decided to say that. Really helps the metrics, helps me out a lot. Secondly, I'm looking to Rob Gronkowski. Over 30.5 receiving yards. Looking forward to him hitting one down the middle of the field here. And like everyone said, I want to see how Tom Brady and the Bucs respond. I've mentioned multiple times, spent 90 seconds in that post-game interview after the last game. I think it was the shortest one of his career.
All right, and I am looking forward to see if the Maestro can cash his plus 11 Giants, because I played it too, while getting a triple-double in his rec league championship game tonight. 10, 10, and 10 for the Maestros. He's just dishing everywhere to the over 40 crowd and then telling us about it tomorrow morning when he can't even walk, but he gets in front of the camera. That's what I'm most looking forward to tonight. All right, there's only one thing left to do, and then I'm going to settle in and watch some football. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Monday Night Football tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire team, and I love them all, AB, M-Squared, Sia, the Jeweler, the Maestro. Please let him not get hurt tonight. And Prop Stars, we're thinking about you tomorrow. Tying that knot, big boy. We're here for you. I am the coach. Tell all your friends, even you that thinks the show is garbage. You can tell your friends too. Come on over. We want everybody. We want you to have fun. Right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.